Lincoln 30 to dispatch. Yeah, that's a wild goose chase over here at Nakatomi Plaza. Everything here's okay. Over.
Let it snow, let it snow, let it...
Welcome to the party, pal!
I'm not ready to make now. Hey, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome in. This is the Raging Buddha, and we're coming to you live from the box office. And I'm Nora Ames, your host. Thank you guys so much for being here. Holy cannolis. Okay, I just saw some breaking news. I have a timer going on my watch, guys, because I have to leave my house for an appointment outside of the house in a little bit. But I wanted to take the time to bring this breaking news to you guys before I go. So yesterday, we went over the first transcript, okay, that happened, and along with the chalk incident itself. Breaking news, because I do check this every day, guys. I check the Pinellas County website just to see if anything else has come out on this case. And let's show you what just dropped. Now, I'm not going to bring the actual document up, only because it does share everybody's address, but I'm going to tell you the names here. Okay, so on this document here that you can see in blue, if you see anything in blue on this website, that means this little green thing here will tell you it's a public document. Okay, so the newest public document available here is Acknowledgement of Additional Discovery. And when you go to that document, okay, this was filed on the 9th. So this was filed yesterday, okay, by the court. And it says, pursuant to Rule 3.220 Florida Rules of Criminal Procedure, the following constitutes a list of additional discovery, which may be relevant to the offense charged or to any defense of the people charged with respect thereto. Remember, guys, we have 21 days. And what is the evidence? It is not one, not two, but three additional witnesses have been added. We have 2 security guards and somebody who's not a registered security guard, okay? A man named Dimitri is the man who is not listed as a security guard, so I don't know if he's a fake Space Navy member. It's possible. And we do have 2 registered licensed security guards who are also licensed to carry concealed weapons in the state of Florida. Nathan Mezenset, and everybody's favorite security guard, Mateo. That's right, everybody. That's right, Mateo, guys. Mateo is getting called as a witness in Aaron's trial on March 3rd. On the witness list, okay, and that was submitted for Bruce Bartlett by Morgan Me yesterday. So, guys, remember when Aaron was like, my restraining order's only against John Gaffney, and ran up to Mateo and spittled in his face for like almost 10 minutes straight? You guys remember that? Why is that significant? Well, that's after the chalk incident, Nora. It's after. Let's go to Eric Rader's favorite, the transcripts. Because the transcripts tell us, kids, what the judge sees, what she's planning to do with the information that she sees, and where the case is going. Okay, guys, like it's just so easy to figure out. So we are going to look at 2 different transcripts here. We're going to go through them very quickly. Okay. Oh, there's more than one video of Aaron yelling at Mateo. And guess what, Aaron? You can scrub your page all you want. These have already been downloaded, not just by me, I'm sure by Scientology and also by the prosecution. Because again, Aaron, this case is not about Scientology. It is about your words and actions in the wild, okay, that have led you to cop these charges. Now, let's go back to the transcripts here. Yesterday, we read the first one. okay, where he was issued the no contact order. That's October 17th. The next hearing was November 13th. Okay, let's keep that in mind. So on November 13th, let me pull this up here. Hang on one second. So many things on my desktop. There we go. Okay. And got it. Okay. So this is the November 13th transcript. Let me put this over here so you guys can see it a little bit bigger. There we go. All right. We're going to skip through a bunch of stuff here. Okay. So it's more stuff. So Miss Me introduces the next case kind of as part of this hearing. Okay. The initial case date of the offense was the 29th of July. That's the chalk incident in which the defendant was protesting at the Church of Scientology, which involved spray painting on a sidewalk and a mural. And the victim, a security guard, came out with a bucket of water to eliminate damage. At that point, the defendant, Aaron Smith-Levin, walked up to the victim, and we all saw the video. This is exactly what he did, and threw a bag of chalk in the victim's face. Okay. This defendant, Aaron Smith-Levin, subsequently picked up an additional charge of battery against a different victim, Andrew Shape. However, it should be noted that this individual was also a part of the Church of Scientology. This instance took place on September 20th at 2:36 p.m. And then the court's like, wait a minute, what day? September 20th. Okay. So she gives where the defendant was captured on video approaching the Church of Scientology and using his foot to block the door. The victim tried to stop the defendant, and the defendant pushed the victim in the chest with both hands into a wall. We also did speak with the victim and obtained sworn testimony, which confirmed the facts just outlined, as well as the fact that we reached out to Detective Bieber, who also testified to the facts outlined above in sworn testimony with Miss Taylor. So they got a police statement outlining those facts from the video. They called the police, they gave a police statement, and the cop watched the video and was like, that's what I saw. Okay, therefore, it's the state's stance that because this defendant picked up a subsequent charge of battery while on pretrial release, all facts, okay, the charge is in July, the subsequent charge is in September. Even though they only had the pretrial hearing in October, that one was filed directly, okay? And his bond should be revoked. It's also the state's opinion that clearly this is not stopping if there has been multiple victims, both part of the Church of Scientology, and it's similar instances, including this protesting, but going beyond what is peaceful protesting, resulting in charges of battery. So the judge says, okay. And what do you want me to hear, Mr. Perlman? So Aaron's lawyer says, Lee Perlman says, Your Honor, the new allegation, we have a video of the entire incident that I believe does in fact show no battery from my client. This is the POV that Aaron showed on his channel that I've showed many times. Okay. To any alleged victim took place. It's 1:09. I'm happy to show, Your Honor. Further, there was the police never spoke to my client about this. The police were never involved. So because the police didn't interview Aaron directly, obviously there's nothing, there's no there. The state attorney filed this directly. So as far as the facts of the allegation, again, I will approach, if Your Honor will allow me to show you that 1:09 video. Okay, so then they go up and further, in the original in-time battery that the state is moving to revoke bond on, what they left out of the factual retelling, here's where the lawyer's doing a little bit of tap dancing here, is that the representatives of Church of Scientology threw water on my client, which never happened, Lee. You are openly lying in court to the judge. And others as well prior. There's going to be an argument of mutual combat, self-defense for that dynamic before the powder got onto them and that they had been using on the sidewalk. So the issue to me here is this, where's the First Amendment butts up against people's individual liberties and rights? The issue is this going too far or not? I'm pretty sure the judge has said it's already gone too far. I would argue again that in this scenario, allow me to show you the video, then I can argue I don't think a crime occurred. So the judge says, okay. So they show this video. I'm not going to read the whole transcript again. This is one where he's like, hey, Pat, I knew I could come and ask you for help, blah, 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 blah. The judge watches it 3 times. 3 times. Okay. We're going to scroll through all of that. Okay. 3 times. And then the judge says, all right, state, you wanted to add something? Yes, Your Honor. I also want to state that the victim is present. Okay. You want to add something? Who's Andrew? Who's the one that got hit up against the door? Sir, face the court. Okay, so Andrew's there. He says it's him. Then he has he has the video, Scientology's video. So they're going to watch that now. Okay. So Aaron says, can he watch it? And then Miss Me is showing Aaron separately. So this is the surveillance video, Your Honor. I figured there had to be a surveillance video somewhere, the judge says. They watch it. There's no audio. This is a silent film. This is a silent film. I never got an email from anybody saying that they had a picture of Jenna and Aaron together at the airport. So show me the evidence. Now, after watching the video 1 time, the judge says, I don't need to see any more. Anything else you want to add, Mr. Perlman? Like, that's not good. That's not good. She watched Aaron video 3 times, trying to really look. Is there contact? Is there not contact? She watched the surveillance silent video 1 time and saw Aaron put both of his big ass man hands, we've seen the Spock hands, all over Andrew and shove him against the wall. Okay. Your Honor addressed at the prior court hearing further conditions to not have any violations or contact with some of the listed victims in this situation, which my client has been abiding at all times. Now, it would be curious, because I haven't done this yet, to look at Aaron's live streams between October 17th and November 13th and compare that out. I need to do that. So, he's doing very well with the court orders. Okay. These are going to realistically be going to trial. And my hope and the objective here is allowing him to remain out of custody without any prior record or dynamic other than these interactions to allow a jury to make a determination on guilt or innocence given the circumstances. Now, this is the judge's rebuttal. Okay. Well, I also made a comment to Mr. Smith-Levin last time that he was here. I said, I respect his right to peacefully protest. He's allowed to do that. But the problem is that I mentioned this last time when he was sticking his phone in someone's face, which turned out to be the same victim of the original battery, that he's starting to escalate. Now, granted, they showed that video. They didn't show this incident, which was already a part of the record at the time of the hearing in October. It was a known incident. They could have introduced this video for this other charge. I think right then she wouldn't have granted him, she would have revoked his bond in October. Okay. And escalating with something his face, it seems to me he really now is just interested in content on his videos or whatever it is that he's doing. It was evident when he, number one, the allegations here on this case, and they're only allegations at this point from what I know, is he's doing chalk on their sidewalk or the sidewalk around there. So now Lee decides to interrupt. They've been doing that for years. Well, it is what it is. You can protest, but you don't get to start messing up people's property and that type of stuff. So I don't know where this occurred, but I'm assuming it's somewhere near there. Then we get the situation of him going up and approaching security and sticking his phone in their faces. And now we've got him. You can see he's deliberately walking down that sidewalk looking for an issue, just the way he's walking. He starts walking by the door. He sees that it is open. He's like, oh, okay, great. And he sticks his head in there. And he's clearly holding the door open with his foot when they're trying to close the door. And he's trespassing. I'm surprised he doesn't have a trespass charge against him. And then he clearly shoves this second person, Andrew, okay? He may be making all kinds of noise on his video, how he got battered, but I just saw the video and I didn't have to watch that one 3 times. So I have concerns that Mr. Smith-Levin has escalated and he's continued to escalate. He got in trouble for the first case, but yet he can't seem to stop. And timeline-wise, she is totally correct. So I'm going to revoke his bond and I'm going to issue a 0 bond and we will go from there. So then Aaron wants to talk. Your Honor, my client would like to speak just briefly to the court. I advised him not to, but I think it's something he would like Your Honor to hear. She says, that's fine. That's fine. Aaron says, Your Honor, the incident that occurred on September 17th, I haven't prepared any statements, so I'm speaking off the cuff, Your Honor. I have absolutely 0 criminal history whatsoever. I have absolutely 0 intention of continuing in any of this escalatory behavior, except for right after your release, Aaron, when you ran across the street against a traffic light to scream in Mateo's face multiple times. This last incident with Andrew Shape was on September 17th. That was before my last appearance. Now, that is also a fact, except for the timeline of offenses is July, September. Then his first hearing, for whatever reason, was in October. That's not the judge's problem that a court date couldn't been, hashed out before October. That's a fucking Aaron can't keep his shit together problem. Okay? That was almost 2 months ago. I completely understand your concern. As a child trafficking victim of Scientology, it's been my life's work to advocate for victims of Scientology. Now, we went over this before. Whether or not you are trafficked as a human being, abused, that does not give you a hall pass, a license, a freebie to be abusive to other people, even the people who were abusive to you. Let's look at the Epstein victims who haven't become mass murderers, who haven't gone on to assault or batter any of the people involved in their sexual abuse, okay? And somehow these random people, none of whom were abusive to Aaron, knew him at the time of the abuse, did physically any of the abuse, have been abused by him. None of that is an excuse. None of that is an excuse. Okay? So, Lady Pamela, I have to pause here for a minute. Lady Pamela, I fail to see your logic here. I don't understand how you can continue to support Aaron Smith-Levin, who is a self-confessed domestic abuser of multiple women, who is supported by 2 Nazi bootlickers. If you are, in fact, a white supremacist, then that makes total sense, Lady Pamela, okay? But the fact that you want to come in here right now to try and aggravate me, first of all, I'm not aggravated by you. I feel nothing for you other than like, wow, that's shocking, okay? It's literally shocking to me that I am being called a troll by reading literal court transcripts. This is exactly what happened in the court case. This is exactly what's being presented. And the actions and words of Aaron Smith-Levin, the multiple domestic abuser that you still support, are totally okay with you. Please, 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 please understand what you're supporting. Why do I keep covering the same topic over and over again? Because Aaron Smith-Levin is singularly the most dangerous former Scientologist on planet Earth. He makes all of us out here who want to end Scientology, who want to battle it legally, look completely uncredible. Okay? He takes away our credibility, Miss Allison, by being a self-confessed domestic abuser of multiple women, by having Nazi bootlickers be his main supporters, and by lying in open court to the judge. Okay? if we want to combat Scientology and entities like Scientology, you have to be on the side of truth. And sometimes you have to repeat that truth over and over again for people to understand it and comprehend it. Okay? I know, weird to add, she hopes I don't get an ulcer. I don't have an ulcer, but thank you. Thank you for the what? I don't know. Also, you're right. You're right, Gunna Fawcett. It is my channel. I can talk about whatever I want. And I had breaking news about it, so go back to the beginning. Okay. Let's finish this up because we have to go to the other one. And I've got 12 minutes, guys. Okay, no more distractions. I totally understand there's been a line that I have at the very least come dangerously close to, if not past. Aaron, first of all, don't ever admit any guilt in a fucking courtroom to the judge, whether you're guilty or not. That's just a stupid strategy. Also, you definitely have passed it. She said you passed it. I hope to resolve these issues at trial. There's absolutely no chance of me repeating this type of behavior except for immediately upon release. I am the sole provider for a family of 5. The concerns that the court has, I totally understand. And yet, this incident was September 17th. And since then, and especially since your protection order, there's been absolutely 0 incidents, except for all the times you said John Gaffney's name and the videos you made with his face on it, etc. That Miss Me alluded to at the beginning of this one. So I acknowledge my responsibility in everything that has occurred and just implore the court to simply allow me to remain out on bond or perhaps increase the bond and just allow me the chance to resolve this trial is my request, Your Honor. Yeah, I'll just get more money from Cheryl for the bond. I'm going to revoke your bond, the judge says. Your attorney can come forward in a week or 2 and ask me to reconsider the bond. But Mr. Smith-Levin, it shouldn't take me lecturing you after you've already gotten 1 criminal charge to stop overstepping your bounds. And at this point, you have overstepped your bounds. And so I'm going to revoke your bond. It's going to be 0 bond. You will then be taken into custody. And then you can think about it maybe while you're sitting in custody. And we can try these cases. I don't have any problems, which is why I will consider a bond down the road. Okay. So then let's go to the bond hearing that he had in on November 21st. So now you've been in jail for 8 whole days, gets a bond hearing, and here's what happened here. Now, this is the important part that for the people in the back who think I'm just a raving fucking lunatic, okay? Please pay attention to what the court is saying and what the prosecution is saying and what the court agrees with and what the court doesn't agree with. Okay. Obviously, we had a pretty extensive, this is Aaron's lawyer. Okay. There's a video that was shown that obviously we had not seen at that point, okay, which was the CCTV footage that Scientology supplied, okay? Your Honor believed that it was appropriate at that time, given the factual scenario and evidence that you viewed, to revoke bond. At that time, I had indicated to my client and the court that we would file a motion, the motion for bond to be heard as soon as Your Honor thought it was appropriate. The court gave us this date. We are hoping, given the lack of any prior record, and I hesitate to use the word lesson, but the point that Your Honor was attempting to make, we believe, and I've had communication with my client's family and my client at great extent as far as what's to be expected of him. Now, we know what that means, that he was having conversations with Jenna, which is being worded as family here. I don't know. I think the first time Heather asked a question was actually outside of the courtroom, possibly. As far as what's to be expected of him and what is not appropriate or acceptable in any way, especially to the court, but just from day in and day out perspective of life. My client has very strong feelings about, obviously, the entity he is protesting against, but at the same time, he understands that there are lines and they are there for a reason, and everyone's entitled to protection of the law. He will obviously honor, and now there's somebody in the gallery with their phone. And then the state says, Your Honor, I've been in constant contact with the victim in this case, as well as the other victim. So she's been talking to Andrew and John Gaffney, okay? During the motion to revoke bond, the main basis was that new law violation, as well as the video that was presented in court that day. I was made aware at that time that there were additional concerns coming from both victims. As the court is aware, this defendant has a YouTube channel, which he posts consistently on, specifically targeting the Church of Scientology, as well as specifically addressing the victims, which, in the state's view, would potentially be rising to a violation of the no contact order. And there are specific instances, and I would specifically like to point out the fact that the argument that was made during the motion, hang on one second. I took all my stuff off because I recorded something. People outside are rowdy. Where did I go? As well as specifically addressing the victims in which the state's view would potentially be rising to a violation of the no contact order. And there are specific instances, and I would like to she's really good with the word specific here. I would specifically like to point out the fact that the argument that was made during the motion to revoke bond was that there have been 0 incidents since September 20th. However, I've provided an entire packet with specific references to instances in which the victim felt that this defendant was specifically targeting him in these YouTube videos. They're all still up on Aaron's channel. All of the videos that he made, like, we need to find out who these guards are, etc., were all made after the no contact order. Okay? On October 28th, a YouTube video was posted. In this video, the defendant identified Mr. Gaffney by name, as well as presented a photograph, and he requested his followers to encounter church security personnel and photograph them or video them and send him the footage that is obtained. Your Honor, that's just one example of several others in this packet that I have here, and the state's main concern is here, as well as I believe the court's concern, is the rising level of this defendant's behavior. And at this point, he's inciting others to get involved. And so although potentially this defendant is staying away, he is inciting others to participate. And that's the state's concern, especially with the fact that there's not only one victim in this case. There are 2. And clearly, this is targeted towards this church in particular. Okay. The judge says, I'm pretty certain I said in my no contact order that he's not to have any other third parties have contact with the victims in this case. And that is exactly what she said. Okay. I don't think that he was asking to have contact with them in a communicative or interaction way. No, just send me some videos and pictures. I don't know how that's not communication. It's more to document things. My client in the organization he's associated with, SPTV and the SPTV Foundation. Actually, just the foundation. There's no other organization. So is his lawyer in this sentence, my client, and the organization he's associated with? Are we introducing the foundation as an official organization that is protesting Scientology? Is that what we're going to claim? We're doing foundation work? Because that's what that sounds like to me. I think at the end of the day here, his strong feelings towards the Church of Scientology as it exists, and he's entitled to have those feelings. It's the actions that are crossing the line. He's been protesting for over 3 years at this time regularly. Now Aaron pulls him aside to say something. His approach on that wasn't about direct contact at all towards the listed victim. And then the judge interrupts and says, that's exactly what I heard from what the state just said. I mean, that's the exact message I received from the state, what he is saying. And Lee Perlman says, well, I guess he was saying that a lot of the security guards were wearing masks and beginning to wear masks. And his point was to identify who they were based on their actions. The newer allegation that Your Honor saw is its own entity. The original, involving the powder aspect, was back and forth between security and the protesters, and water being thrown on the protesters. Again, a lie directly to the judge, which is proven in the video that Aaron took. Not one drop of water was thrown onto the protesters. It is insane. And chalk getting thrown in the direction of the listed victim in this case. Wow, he's really pushing the limits here with the language. So the point that Your Honor has made, and I think is exactly on point, which is the escalation in trying to prevent further contact between the listed victims in the situation. And I think that Aaron's understanding is a very different now than it was before we had the hearing, and Your Honor laid out exactly the concerns that you had. I don't think it was an intentional contact with that person. They're wearing security masks. We want to know who they are if they do things that they find to be inappropriate or unlawful. What? Oh, that was a burp. Miss Me says, just a specific quote, okay? Now, this is a quote from the video where Aaron asks his audience to identify the security guards. These are Aaron Smith-Levin's words. Now, anyone who interacts or come across any Scientology organization security guard in downtown Clearwater, whether you're a protester or not, ex-Scientologist or not, I don't care. If you come into contact with one of these security guards, please feel free to take a photo, take a video, and send it to me. Now, Aaron and Lee are talking furiously. So the judge says he's asking others to, and now she's pissed about the conversation. She says, you need to stop talking, Mr. Smith-Levin, because I can honestly tell you 100% you are not helping yourself. And quite frankly, every time your poor attorney comes into this courtroom, he gets whacked with something new he didn't know about. Okay? It's happened every time we've been in this courtroom, because what you're presenting to him and what he's finding out bit by bit, apparently every time he comes into this courtroom for an issue that you've done, is that it's really not what you're representing. Okay? So your credibility with me right now is not that great. You're not helping yourself. You are escalating, which I have said already twice, not twice. And this is my third time. And after we've had the no contact order, where I specifically told you you're to have no third parties have contact, you're now asking on your YouTube channel to have other people do exactly what I told you you couldn't do. And it is that have them have contact with them and have them send you content, which you're now is violating the no contact order of me telling you you're not to have any third parties do that. So now you're trying to skirt everything that I tell you to do, Mr. Smith-Levin. You're not getting the message. Your hatred for Scientology is going to land yourself in jail for a very long time if you do not stop your behavior. You have escalated. It's now all about your YouTube channel. It didn't take me but 2 seconds to see in the first video where you were shoving your phone into somebody's face, okay? You're not the first person that wants to, get posts off a YouTube channel by shoving your phone into people's faces to make it look good, all right? And you got one lady who's sitting over in jail for a year and a half because she was feeding her YouTube channel with a bunch of nonsense. And you're on that same path because you're not getting the message. I specifically gave you that no contact order on October 17th. And I'm hearing you're doing this on October 30th. Aaron wants to talk. She says, reply at your own risk. Please, the no contact order was for Mr. Gaffney, Your Honor. The video and had quite literally, I'm not exaggerating, ma'am, nothing to do with Mr. Gaffney, except for he clearly says his name and shows his photo in the video. This is Aaron's reality. He shows a picture of John Gaffney, says this is John Gaffney, and then goes on to show other people that he hasn't identified yet, requesting they be identified, but listed John Gaffney more than once in the video by name and by picture, saying that he's already been identified. That's not okay. Okay? What I showed was all of the Scientology security guards who interact with the protesters cover their faces with protective masks. I have some sources who used to work in that security force that were helping us identify the people who were hiding their identities. Mr. Gaffney had already identified himself to the court. Prior to that, I had no idea who he was. My video asked for people to get photos or videos of I specified other security guards who were covering their faces so that we could have a complete list of their identities, Your Honor. It was not to violate or to be cute with the protection order in any way. The judge literally has no response for him, just looks directly at the prosecution. You have anything to add? Now, this is the key part. Please, everybody, pay attention. Please, everybody, pay attention. Yes, Your Honor, I would just further emphasize the fact that this is now, the scope has widened. We've gone beyond one individual. There was a second individual, and this defendant just admitted right there that he's willing to go beyond that. The fact that this is all focused on the Church of Scientology, do we need to come forward and have another victim next? Like, that's where this is arising to. That's the state's concern. That's why the state wants him held in custody at this time. This part right here, where the prosecution, with no objection from Aaron's lawyers and none from the judge, the scope has widened. We've gone beyond one individual. So then the judge says, you told me, Mr. Smith-Levin, last time when you were here about ready to go to jail, how this occurred before that motion for no contact, and you had learned your lesson and you were behaving yourself much better, and that you had heard me loud and clear. And for what I'm hearing right now is you really didn't hear me loud and clear. Is that you really are just doing everything you can to skirt that no contact order. You've gone from picketing and your right to protest. Thank you. I missed the word. The right to protest. Now targeting people trying to get content for your YouTube channel, and you've escalated the situation. So you really haven't gotten the message, Mr. Smith-Levin, in regards to you go out there, you can have your protest signs and do all you want. Now you're trying to target people. You're trying to, what is it they call it when you put people's personal information out there? Doxing. Aaron, of course, answers the question. Doxing. Which it seems to me you're trying to stir up the problems for other security guards that you can't do now. So you're trying to get other people to do it. Okay? I don't really think you should talk anymore, Mr. Smith-Levin, right? And he keeps trying to interject things, okay? Keeps trying to say things. His lawyer comes back, trying his best to plead Aaron's case. Like, he's so much better now, Your Honor. And then she goes back to the fact that at the beginning of the Andrew video, Aaron's camera is right where? In Andrew's face. That's what she doesn't like. She doesn't want people violating other people's personal space. Okay? Right. So she goes over that more. Aaron still wants to talk. And now he wants to say that you can't wear a face mask. Aaron tries to make the case that you can't wear a face mask as a licensed security guard. And you know what the judge says? You know what? Then call the police and tell them they're violating the law. Aaron tries to justify it again. No, stop. You're not helping yourself, Mr. Smith-Levin. If you think it's such a big violation of law, then you call the police and let them investigate it, not sit there on your YouTube channel and just try to stir problems. And that's where you are. Poor Lee Pearlman just keeps trying to offer counseling, all this other stuff, okay? And then he almost fires Lee Pearlman. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So that's... And then the judge revealed that she was going to put him on a GPS monitor. and let him out. And then she kept him in. She kept him in jail. But the important part, guys, is literally when the prosecution says, I would like to just further emphasize the fact that this is now, the scope has widened. We've gone beyond one individual. And now who's on the witness list? Who's coming down the mountain? Who's coming to court? 2 security guards. One, maybe, I don't know what they do. And of course, everybody's favorite security guard, Mateo. Mateo's coming in. How many videos of Aaron and Mateo are there? I don't know. I'll have to put that together for tomorrow. But guys, I really, really do have to go to a medical appointment. So I have to drive across town to get to the place to do that. Otherwise, I would sit on here and chit chat with you guys about this a lot more. But holy cannolis, guys. 3 additional witnesses have just been added as of yesterday to Aaron's trial. I have seen no witnesses for the defense. None. So we're not calling Cheryl. We're not calling Jamie. We're not calling any of the people. No witnesses. None. None for Aaron. Aaron thinks that his videos, okay, he was so confident that his video of the foot incident showed him being battered by Andrew that he submitted that to the court as a legal document, guys. The judge watched it 3 times, watched 1 time the other footage, and clearly saw Aaron was the one doing the assaulting, the battery. I don't understand what mindset this man is in right now, or anyone following him who thinks he's not going to prison, not just jail, prison, for a long time. Each of the charges, guys, because of the hate crime enhancement, carries a maximum term of 5 years. That's a potential of 10 years. We already know from the judge watching the other perspective video of the foot incident that she could clearly see with her human eyes that what Aaron claims is not what happened. We can already see from the transcripts that the judge in this case has already, through her own words, not through a ruling, has seen Aaron violating his First Amendment right and crossing over into harassing and battery. She has said that. Okay? How is he not going to prison? What is he literally thinking? If I were his lawyers right now, looking at this, who apparently don't have YouTube, okay? Listen up, Jerry and Lee. If you guys are watching, okay, please do yourself a favor and watch Aaron's videos because your client is lying to you, okay? You guys are going to look like total fucking assholes in court. Your client is lying to you. Now, do I think he'll get the full 5 years for each one? I think he'll get 18 months for the chalk, and I think he'll get like 2 years, maybe 2.5 for the foot incident. Also for the lying. It's gonna put it over the top for the judge because it's the same judge in both cases. So I think Aaron could be potentially in jail for almost 4 years total. That's my prediction. I could be wrong. And if Aaron skates on both these things, guys, guess what? It's no skin off my nose, except for he's still dangerous. Doesn't mean he's not a dangerous person. So keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes peeled if I find out anything else that's going on. I will let you know. Before we go, though, really quick, and I'm going to do a full video about this. I don't know what that. Oh, okay. Something that just happened today in the world. The Epstein victims, I brought them up earlier. They have been working very hard to get justice. There is a law that has been introduced into Congress. It is not voted on yet, headed up by Chuck Schumer, which don't get me started on him right now. Like, if I were a victim of Epstein, I'd be like, oh, Mr. Schumer, you can't sit with us because he is funded by people who are connected to Epstein. Anyway, moving on. So they have announced Virginia's law after Virginia Giuffre, who passed away in 2023 by suicide. And yeah, she's the one that started this whole march forward. She was one of the first people to publicly come out and continue to come for him, despite all of the things that were thrown at her for years. And this law would basically put a permanent look-back window that would erase statute of limitations for sexual crime survivors. This is enormous. This will apply to all sexual crimes of a sexual nature across the U.S. It would be a federal law. So this is very important for the American citizens out there. Please, please, please call your House of Representative, call your senators, and encourage them to vote yes on Virginia's law. We need to get this passed. We need to get this in the books because all of this. I'm sorry. You are correct. That was April of 2025, not 2023. I'm watching the Epstein documentary right now on Netflix, so my dates are a little all over the place because that was made earlier. Anyway, yes. Yeah, I'll put this article in the comments after. You guys can read. This is great coverage from the BBC. That's Virginia right there, Virginia Giuffre holding a picture of herself when she was 16. Yeah, she worked her ass off. So this would be amazing to get this law passed. So please, 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 they just announced this today in a press conference literally a few hours ago. Please call your Congress people and encourage them to vote yes. These are the type of things that we need to support to take Scientology down, because if every single survivor of sexual abuse inside Scientology could file charges and a lawsuit, goodbye, Scientology. Bye-bye. Okay? So we need to make sure this law passes. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you to all the people on the Rewatch crew. I love you. I couldn't do this without you. Thank you to all the members. Don't forget, the mod merch is still for sale. Get your Mod Mafia merch. It's limited time only until the end of February. Thank you, as always, to my mods, my lady mods, the head of the Mod Mafia. I could not do this without you. And as always, everybody, I will see you all on the flippity dippity.
Lincoln 30 to dispatch. Yeah, that's a wild goose chase over here at Nakatomi Plaza. Everything here's okay. Over.
Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
God, everything is a crime!